Hey guys, it's Autumn. So, I am super excited to do this speech. I've been told multiple times that I'm a very argumentative person, so this is right up my alley. It's also a really interesting topic to me, and I think it's super important, so I will try my hardest not to go over the time limit, but that seems very unlikely. So, the topic that I chose was, and this is also the title of my speech, simply, is God real? Now, why is that important? Why is this something that you really need to think about? Well, one of two things is the case. Either God doesn't exist and it's okay to just kind of run around and do whatever, or he does and we need to figure out who he is and what he wants. So hopefully you'll kind of take this into consideration. Maybe something will stand out to you, and maybe you'll do some research on your own. But I'm going to give you 3 reasons I believe that God does exist. Reason number 1 is the fine-tune theory. If you want to look more into this, you should definitely look up Does Science Argue For or Against God by PragerU on YouTube. Really interesting video. It gives a lot of scientific reasons why God does exist, but one that really stood out to me was the fine-tune theory. And more specifically, they talk about the 4 fundamental forces, which are gravity, electromagnetic, and strong and weak nuclear forces. If these forces are off by even just a fraction of the smallest inconceivable fraction, then the stars could not have formed. Nothing in this world could have formed. This piece of paper would not exist. Nothing would exist. Life would not exist. So basically the point of this video was that not only is it rational to believe that there is a God, but that it's irrational not to believe in him. Point number 2 is this. Evil proves that God exists. What do I mean by that? Well, a lot of people have questioned the nature of evil. People have asked, particularly Christians, for millennia now, if God exists, if an all-powerful and all-loving God exists, why does he allow us to suffer? Why does he allow for us to be in pain? Why does he allow evil things to happen? Well, William Wallace, who's the author of Cold Case Christianity, actually talks about this topic. He posted a YouTube video called Does the Existence of Evil Exculpate God as the Cause of the Universe? In this video, he talks about a lot of different reasons why God exists, but he specifically points out that evil actually proves it. And I thought that was really interesting because even I thought that was a really strange way to look at it. But it makes sense. How do we determine what evil is? What is our measurement for evil? There has to be an objective good and evil. No one believes that murder is okay. We all believe that that's evil. But how do we know it's evil? What determines that is evil? Now, maybe you believe it's something that comes from within. Maybe it's something that we just believe to be evil and therefore it is evil. Well, if it's on the inside, then Hitler was an individual. He believed that not only was it okay to exterminate Jews, but that it was actually a good thing. So, I don't know about that. Maybe you believe it's what's best for the majority of us. Okay. If we enslave 1/3 of the human race, then the majority of us win. 2/3 of us benefit from the slavery of the other third. They can build everything for us and we can just relax, sit back, and drink a Coke. But I don't believe that that's good. And neither do you. No one, or mostly no one, believes that slavery is actually a good thing. This would suggest that it has to be something beyond us. It has to be something beyond the physical. We have to have a measuring stick, and William Wallace believed that this measuring stick was an all-good God who said, this is what I determined to be good, this is what I determined to be evil, and he built that into us. Point number 3 is that not only does God exist, but more importantly, Jesus Christ is God incarnate. He is God on earth. He is God with us. Lee Strobel wrote a book called The Case for Christ. There's also a movie, so in case you don't like reading, you can always just watch the movie. It's what I did. But in it, he does some investigating. He tries to not really determine whether God exists or not, but actually tries to disprove Christianity. He tries to disprove that Christ was actually God. He does this because his wife is a Christian, and he doesn't like that. He thinks that people have just gotten into her head, and he tries to talk sense into her, but it doesn't work. So he sets out to disprove Christ. So he does some researching, and just to give you an example, he suggested that maybe Christ didn't die on the cross. Maybe he went to it, but he didn't die. So he talks to a doctor and asks him, basically, is it possible to survive a Roman crucifixion? And the doctor simply said, though the Romans were not experts in healing, they weren't doctors, they were experts in killing people. They did this all the time. This was routine. And actually, if they messed up on this, they themselves would be killed for it. There's no way that Christ went to that cross and then died. There are a lot of other points that he came out with, and they're all very fascinating to me. I wish I had more time to cover them all, but I simply don't. I definitely recommend reading this book. It's or the movie, like I said, because I watched the movie. But it's really interesting, and I think it really does build a strong case. Kind of going back to what I was saying before, this is important. This is the most important decision you're ever going to make. Either God exists or he doesn't. If he doesn't, okay, but what if he does? I don't want anyone to have to question that at the very end. I don't want someone to be afraid of what may come because they didn't believe in their creator. So I guess that's the point of this video.